Let me tell you a story. A friend of mine, we'll call her Sarah, met a guy who seemed absolutely perfect. On the first day, he was charming, confident, funny. By the second, he was texting non-stop. By the third, he was thinking about forever. It felt like a theater, but a few weeks later, things changed. The compliments turned to criticism. The warmth turned cold, and she started apologizing for things she didn't even do. If you ever met someone who seemed amazing at first, only to become controlling or distant later, you might have crossed paths with masses. I'm Ben Mavin, and today I'm breaking down how to spot a narcissist in the first 3 days. Before the mask slips and before they drain your peace. If you are ready to protect your energy and get smarter, hit that subscribe button and drop a like. Let's dive in. Here's the tricky part. Narcissists rarely look like villains. They look like dream partners. They are manipulative, confident, and seem to understand you instantly. That's what makes them dangerous. On that first day, they might feel like a perfect match. Conversation flows, they mirror your interests, and you leave thinking, wow, this is rare. That instant connection isn't always connection, it's calculation. Narcissists are master mimics. They study your energy, your passions, even your humor, and reflect it right back. They don't connect. They construct a version of themselves they will follow. So, when someone feels too good to be true, sometimes they are. Healthy connection builds natural. Narcissists manufacture chemistry to make you drop your guard. Stay observant, not paranoid. Awareness is your power. The first day is where narcissists shine. They listen just enough to reflect you. They will say, can't believe we are so alike, or it's crazy how comfortable I feel with you. It's flattering, right? But that's part of the setup. If you love a certain artist, suddenly they adore them too. If you say you value honesty, they'll agree and double down on it. But ask yourself, are they sharing authentically or just echoing your words? True compatibility feels relaxed. Narcissistic mirroring feels intense. It's like meeting a person, meeting a perfect version of yourself. And that's exactly what they want you to do. Don't get swept up in the illusion of instant connection. Give things time. The longer you take to really know someone, the harder it is for them to fit it. The next major red flag, love booming. This is when affection becomes a performance. They text constantly, call you, be friends, or talk about the future way too much. It feels passionate, but it's not clear. It's controlled through intensity. Love bombing rushes emotional intimacy before trust is built. The goal is to get you hooked fast, because once you are attached, it's easier to manipulate you later. If someone's moving faster than feels natural, slow it down. And healthy love grows, doesn't demand. Ask yourself, is this connection real, or am I being overwhelmed into believing it is? If this is landing so far, do me a favor. Top like to support the channel and help more people spot this signs early. It really helps. By the second day, nurses start testing you, often in playful ways. Maybe This teases you in ways that sting. Maybe they interrupt, talk over you, or make you upset. You are expert. They are not trying to bond, they are collecting them. They want to know how much disrespect you tolerate. The less you react, the more power they think they have. Pay attention to how your body feels. Do you feel pain or slightly distressed? Do you feel like you are shrinking just to keep things alive? That's your signal. Boundaries aren't control, they are reflection, self-respect. If someone looks at them money, they are showing you exactly what kind of partner will be later. Trust discomfort. It's your intuition speaking, not your anxiety. By the end, if something subtle changes, the narcissist tone softens from blatant correction. They'll make jokes about how you talk or how you dress. They might question you who you spend time with or where you go. It won't sound aggressive, but it sounds concerned. That's how control begins. You might find yourself explaining or defending your choices just to keep things smooth. This is the start of the manipulation cycle. The narcissist's validation becomes conditional, and you start craving their approval again. Help the people let you be yourself. Narcissists make you adjust one affection. And here's the truth. The moment you start filtering your personality to keep their interest, they'll already they've already started living within power. Some red flags aren't loud, they are quiet. They'll interrupt your stories to tell their own. They'll brag about their success in humble ways. They'll talk endlessly about loyalty but whisper about everyone else. Try this. Count how many times they ask you genuine questions. Narcissists have to be listened to but rarely return that energy. Another sign, they turn everything into a stage. Even vulnerability becomes performance. You share something deep and they respond with a story that tops yours. It's not a conversation, it's a competition. Notice where the attention flows. Real connection shares space. Narcissistic attention demands it. If this sounds familiar, pause and comment below. Have you ever experienced this kind of work? I'd love to hear your stories. One of my favorite tools is emotional storytelling. There are sharp, deep trauma and heartbreak, betrayal, toxic access, and you may feel protected. But this isn't always honest. It's manipulation disguised as vulnerability. They unload pain quickly to create emotional bonding. Suddenly, you are confronting them and investing before you even know who they really are. But true vulnerability builds gradually. Narcissists first track it to secure your empathy. Once they have it, they use it later to guilt you, control you, or excuse their behavior. Remember, your compassion is a gift, not a leash. If you're constantly comforting instead of connecting, something is off. Empathy should be mutual, not one-sided therapy session disguised as romance. Consistency reveals everything. If someone says one thing and does another, believe the actions, not the words. Narcissists often promise honesty while twisting stories about their past. They may say, my ex is this, or no one ever appreciated me, but noticed. Somehow they are a hero in every version. Ask yourself, does their behavior align with their claims? Do they follow through? Do they keep small promises? Because narcissists can fake chemistry, but they can't fake consistency. Pay attention to patterns, not performance. A stable person would leave you guessing where you stand. If someone keeps you confused, that's not love. That's control through uncertainty. Here is what I tell my coaching clients. Confusion is clarity. If you constantly have to decode someone's behavior, what's your sign? After a day, ask yourself, do you feel peaceful or drained? Your nervous system knows the truth long before you have catch yourself. You don't need to label someone a narcissist. You just need to know what energy deserves your presence. If it costs you peace, it's too expensive. And if you've ever muted your instincts, this is your reminder. Your gut isn't firm, it's protective. You deserve to live without second guessing your worth. And if this message resonates, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so more people can learn to trust their intuition too. Here is what narcissists never expect awareness. You can fake charm, but you can't fake consistency and observation. When you stay conscious, you win the game without playing it. Narcissists don't fall in love with you. You fall in love with their reflection in your eyes. At the moment you stop reflecting back at information, your power fades. Don't rush, don't chase, don't let intensity replace intimacy. Because your love doesn't rush, it reveals. Protect your peace and never confuse being wanted with being valued. If someone truly values you, they will feel calm, not confused. Sarah, remember her? She eventually left that relationship, and she told me something powerful. Red flags were there in a second, yet I just didn't want to believe them. That's a lesson. Your intuition isn't just emotional, it's intelligent. Trust it. So if you ever tell someone who mirrored you, trust you, or drained you, you are not alone. Awareness is your freedom. I'm done leaving, and if this video helped you, hit subscribe, drop a like, and share it with someone who might need it today. Leave a comment below. Tell me what sides you learned to spot early. Remember, the right person won't confuse you, rush you, or train you. They'll meet you with peace because real love doesn't perform, it shows up.